I like tweeted out about this thing, and like, there was talk of maybe hosting a debate or a discussion or something like that.
Large tits? Mm. Yes.
And then it got really weird in the replies, right? So there's Neo Moirai. So Neo Moirai among us. Okay, I mean we have the largest amount of immigration in the region, and the only market high. Wait a sec. Sorry. On immigration, do I worry about my son and how he can be treated if he becomes a minority? Sure, but my reasoning for immigration has nothing to do with that. So this is Brittany. So Brittany's supposedly like the left wing host of this whole escapade, from what I understand. You got like the right wing host and the left wing host, and Brittany's on cam during the debates and stuff like that. But like, I saw this in my replies, and I was a bit like, that sounds a bit like white genocide, great replacement shit. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? I was a bit like, yeah, I don't know. It's a bit sus. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, it goes on. Okay, I mean, we have the largest amount of immigration in the region, and only market higher is HK index, so it's cultural. I understand it sucks thinking every white dude is going to be laying tile floors for pennies, but also, I mean, I've done it. I don't know. No, I worry about that revenge factor for my son. That's scary to think about. It's something you could honestly see happening. But again, the reasons I have for moving the needle on immigration are way beyond that. There's a lot of reasons. If that happens, though, that's fine too. But I think that too much change too fast is having an adverse reaction and birthing a lot of extremism. People are not able to. Oh, hey, John, how's it going? Well, yeah, I mean, I did a little meme about it. About what was it? It was a pic. It was a picture of Big Brother Fascist and his wife, and it was like I did the whole "oh, we saw you from across the room and really dig your vibe" meme because they just looked atrocious, and I thought it was funny. Um, but then I just have been hearing about all this politically provoked stuff, and I just thought, well, what's going on here? What's the fucking deal? Do you know what I mean? But I think that too much change too fast is having an adverse reaction. Is this talking about America? Okay, Sam, yeah, give me a couple of minutes just to go through this, and then I'll get you on to give me a bit more insight into all of this, because, it sounds like you got more insight than me, and I just want to get, a little bit more info, I guess, about what's going on with all this. But I think that too much change for us an adverse reaction and birthing a lot of extremism. People are not able to handle the rapid pace, and it's causing us so many problems. I mean, look, I'm not in America, but I've heard all this stuff about the UK, and it's bullshit. Like, it's just not true. Um, you know, this kind of rhetoric just normally is rightoid bullshit. Like, yeah, we've got problems. Don't get me wrong. Of course, there's problems in society. Society's riddled with problems, but the idea that these problems are a result of immigration, in my country at least, is just absurd. And it normally is right wing fear mongering. So I kind of wonder, like, anyone from the US? I mean, what's your take on this? Is it like happening at a fast pace that's causing issues? Like, I don't know. I'm just very skeptical about that. People are not able to handle the rapid pace. It's causing problems. That's the cultural issue I have. Not that I'm worried about becoming a minority. I don't care. Okay. But I also worry about bringing in a lot of low-skilled labour when those jobs are going to be automated in the next 20 years. Then what do we do? You're never going to get healthcare either if we don't get this immigration situation under control. I know that's not your goal, but others. So yeah, I just kind of look at that and I'm a bit like, what? Like, I don't know. That's for someone that's supposedly like a left wing person, a left wing host for this show. It just makes me think, like, what's this all about then? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, like I say, I can't speak with 100% confidence without going into detail and looking at all of the data. Um, oh, hey, Lux, how's it going? But by the same token, I just look at it and I go, well, I've heard all of this stuff about the UK, and it's just right wing fear mongering, you know? I believe the exclusion. I don't care. Oh, look, there's Viv as well. Yeah, it sounds like white It sounds like doesn't it sound like great replacement stuff? Like it sounds like great replacement stuff. And I guess that what kind of piqued my interest from here is that like this is supposed to be the left wing host of the show. And look, a difference of opinion is fine. I don't mind. I don't mind if like we disagree on some policy prescription or whatever. But there's a pretty big chasm. There's a pretty big fucking chasm between, oh yeah, we disagree on tax policy, and oh, I'm worried my child will become a minority, and all this other stuff, which is like, yeah, this is very leftoid. What do you mean? So yeah, anyway, Sam, if you're there, I don't know if you're on my Discord or you want to do a voice call or whatever. Yeah, okay, you're in the Discord. Yeah, hop into the green room, okay, down at the bottom, and I'll pull you in, and you can just give me a bit more insight and more background to all of this stuff, and we'll go from there. Oh, there we go. Hello.
Hello, how's it going?
I'm good, thanks, Sam. How you doing? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. I'm good. It's off of 2 days of pretty much dealing with like groypers and stuff. So it's been interesting. But
Oh, is that as a result of all of this stuff then?
yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
damn. Okay.
So it actually starts a little bit before me. With Marcy. I don't know if you know girl boss Marcy.
Yes, I haven't
Which
really spoken to them, but we meet on Twitter. But they seem pretty cool. Like no issues with
Yes.
them. So.
So they were supposed to do a debate on Politically Provoked against Wuzzle or something. I think that's their name.
Right. Okay.
And the Marcy heard through certain channels that he was gathering um, pictures of her that were from pre-transition and gathering docs on her to spread it around, or even show them during um, the debate. And so she messaged him saying, "Hey, I've heard that you're doing this. I just want to let you know that I've secured documents, and if you dox me, I'm like willing and ready to dox you back
Right.
as
Okay.
a
Damn.
safety measure." And when that happened, Brittany and Politically Provoked came out and said that they are no longer allowing Marcy on their platform because they do not platform doxers. They didn't say anything about Wuzzleroot or Wuzzleroot's wife, and that was kind of the um, original drama that when
Right.
I first like started hearing about Politically Provoked, like getting big drama was that. And then after that,
So sorry, just to clarify, so just so I'm clear. So the situation was this Wurzelroot person had obtained docs on Marcy, and was threatening
yeah,
to dox her, and so Marcy, in response, did the same and obtained some sort of information about Wurzel, some docs or whatever, and said, "Well, if you do it to me, I'll do it to you." That's what
yes,
happened, right?
yes,
Okay.
as far as I know. I don't. That's not you. I like you could talk to Marcy about that and them. I don't have like all the information about that. That's just like the first thing that I've heard about it. Then it's the situation with me occurs, and then it's the situation which you talked about on stream, which is Big Papa Fascist and um, Jangles, and then there's a couple other things that happened with Big Papa Fascist and Samantha Banana, who is a member of our community. I'm an admin on the Twitch Politics Discord, so that's kind of where I've come into it.
Okay. Cool.
Um, so yeah, Samantha Banana and a couple of the Groypers and BPF kind of um, had some issues as well, and that also involves Sansol and kind of all those people. So what happened with me and what I have the most information about is one day I wake up and I'm getting added on a thread that was started by Politically Provoked saying that they're looking for people who are experts or work in the field of AI to have a less blood sports type, more professional oriented panel on the future of AI. I am a AI researcher. Um, by like a master's student of AI. I study natural language processing and signal processing. So, and a bunch of people know that, and so people were saying that they should get me on. I said that I would do it. I was in DMs with Brittany talking about it. She told me that it'd be like a more relaxed panel. That she just wanted me to do an interview just for all the information. So I did an interview, and my interview is up. I don't know if it's still up. Um, and then we did the panel. Now, the panel was hosted by the two normal hosts, so that's Brittany and Todd, and then also by Mio, who is a uh, large member of their community, who is a groiper, self-described groiper, and he even says it at the beginning of the AI panel. And he was hosting the panel alongside them, and the three panel guests were me, Your Environment Seattle, Carl, and the radical coder Ryan. So I, as the only one that worked directly in AI, Carl used to work in the games industry, and Ryan is a software designer by trade. So we were having a discussion about AI and kind of implementations and some of the more political aspects about AI. And so at the beginning of the night, it was also the same night that Nick Fuentes got banned from Twitter. So the night starts out with Brittany asking Mio about Nick Fuentes getting banned, and in which he responds that there are special interest groups like the ADL and other groups that were forcing these big tech companies with their influence um, to get Nick Fuentes banned off Twitter. So this was like the
Whoa.
first time.
And
That was
just,
the first time. Sorry.
I was going to
Yep.
say, this is a panel about AI, right? It's nothing to do
Yep.
with any of this stuff.
Yeah. So that
Jesus.
was the first. That was like his introduction at the beginning of the night. It's like on my stream. Like I posted. I could send you clips. It was like 8 minutes into my stream where he says this, because I also streamed it. And he's just like ADL used their influence to get him kicked off his last platform. Now throughout the whole night, he kept Jewish questioning, and there's at least six more instances of him kind of doing this halfway through the panel. And I have those all. I don't have them clipped, but I have timestamps of them. Basically, every time he'd be like, these global nationalists, these international globalists that have no allegiance to any country, these in groups that have like power over everybody, that are basically running this country, and it'd be basically like, you know, anything he could say besides the Jews. um, and throughout the whole night he was doing this. So Carl, Ryan, and I had to deal with this throughout the whole night. And we did a very good job. And I will congratulate Carl and Ryan. A very good job of like navigating those questions where we made it so that it wasn't we didn't really talk about like that conspiratorial aspect. Um, but later on in the night when we started getting Q&As, is when the really problematic part for me happened. I'm Jewish, and I was wearing a Star of David, which was given to me by my grandmother. So it's a kind of like, and I was just had done the unveiling for my grandmother prior to that. So that is a Jewish ritual in which we unveiled the monument for the dead, and so I was feeling a little sentimental, and I was wearing my Star of David. So the uh, so we get a question about diversity in AI. I answer about how there are certain groups that are sought after in academia, people from diverse backgrounds from either different races or different economic classes. and how it's kind of sad that we don't have those people in academia because they give us insight onto groups that we don't normally get, that they could have different insights. Carl brought up the fact about how the dude bro mentality in Silicon Valley exists, and how it was harmful to employees, which now is kind of prophetic, as we see with the Activision Blizzard stuff that's going on right now, which Carl used to work for Activision Blizzard. So it was kind of an interesting, prophetic piece of information. And Ryan said the same thing, basically, that diversity seems to be really good in the tech community. And so Mio's response was, as you can see, as the panelists hate white people, having less white people in tech is a good thing for them. And we hammered back by saying, that's not what we said. And I said, is there something in your ears? And then he said, hey, Sam, I have a question for you. That's a nice necklace. What symbol is it? And I said, it's a Star of David. And and I said, is there a problem? Because it's again, we're on a panel about AI. And his response was, oh, I'm sorry, I just make fun of people for what they're wearing, or the way they look.
Right.
And and Brittany didn't stop it until after Carl, myself, and Ryan had already like pushed back. She didn't stop when he said, what symbols that. She didn't jump in. And I will say, because she keeps harking on this, Mio did apologize, but his apology was, I'm sorry that you got offended. That was what his apology was.
That's not an apology, is it? Like that's just a get out. That's
Yeah.
just a get out thing. A
And
get out
then
thing.
later on in the night, after the panel was over, he apologized again, but he basically said, well, the reason why I did that is because I'm drunk and I'm autistic. And
Right.
and then Todd has not apologized to me to this day, who's the right wing host, and Brittany has apologized to me. She apologized to me in DMs after the panel. She never did it in voice. She never did it on the panel. She did it after the panel in DMs. So I will admit that they did apologize, and I was thinking that that was in good faith. That at least Brittany's apology was in good faith. I'm not going to take as much. I don't care if this is ideological, but I'm not going to take a Groiper's apology at face value when they're calling me out for being Jewish. Just doesn't seem right.
Yeah,
And
I mean, of course, like the fact it was surreptitious but kind of blatant in terms of it's to your face is pretty disgusting, isn't it? Really.
yeah, and so then Samantha Banana had her incidents with Big Papa Fascist, where he had done a slew of transphobic slurs towards her, and everything. So Samantha decided that she was going to make a tweet about how she wanted to excise some of these Nazi-esque members of their community out of the greater Twitch politics community. And so in that thread, it's a Twitter thread. In that thread, I aired my concern with some of the problems with Politically Provoked directly at Brittany, saying that I think that there are certain actions that need to be moderated more. I was a little spicy, a little bit aggressive, um, but my concern was more about moderation than getting them deplatformed or anything like that. That, like, I don't think that Mio should be moderating panels if he's going to be, doing the Jewish question. I don't think you should be giving people like that a position of authority.
Sure.
If you're trying to present a platform that is platforming both sides. And it turns out that Mio became a moderator in their community, on their Discord, and it seems like they're rewarding this kind of behavior. So I brought that up, and I said, this is kind of the behavior that you shouldn't be rewarding. You should be like actively trying to quell this like conspiratorial behavior. And she did not like that I called it out, and she kept saying that I was lying, that they never JQ'd at all throughout the whole night. Again, there's clips. Tomfoolery went over the clips as well. So there's a YouTube. I've time stamped both time when Tomfoolery went over the clips, so you could see his reaction to it. He finds it hilarious that they say that there's no JQing. And during that, and then finally, Tom Foolery went over this drama, and this is where kind of the Twitter thread that I made yesterday or 2 days ago comes from, and kind of the majority of the drama that I'm involved in comes from. So, Tom, it was a Monday night. We had just finished, or was it Monday or it was either Monday or Tuesday night. Sorry, I don't remember. Might have been, it was the 28th. So it was, yeah, it was Tuesday night because that was in the morning. And I made this tweet right after Tom's stream. Tom was streaming Tuesday very early in the morning our time because he's on the East Coast with me, and he was talking about the drama. And Tom had brought up the fact that that happened on the AI panel, and that was Brittany's response, that the only thing that Mia was doing was pointing out that I wasn't white. Later on in the night, he was talking about the Callegri plan, which one of Tom's mod asks him what it's about, which is the first message. And these are just kind of some examples of what happened in that chat. I have more screenshots of like what was happening in that chat. Those are just like two ones that kind of point out like that Mia was JQing even during that night, and that throughout the whole night, Politically Provoked was kind of defending him, saying like, "Oh, it's just he was just pointing out that he's not white." Um, Politically Provoked replies to this thread saying that I didn't, that there was no JQing during Tom's thing, and that it was kind of just, again, me just lying. And this is kind of Brittany's prerogative, is that um, every time I talk about this, I'm just lying. And that's my big problem. I don't care about them having the platform. I don't care about them having the Discord. It seems like any type of real criticism that has been given towards Brittany, she plays it off as us being unreasonable and just trying to make an echo chamber. I just don't think that people who are JQing should have like positions of power in like these, not positions of power, but like positions of authority where like they're moderating these streams and stuff like that. If you're saying that it's just like a kind of even playing field for ideas. And yeah, so the tweet blew up. It's been kind of like people, groypers have tried to ratio it. There have been a lot of groypers that like have been doing things like Mio quote tweeted it with a clip of Nick Fuentes being sort of anti-Semitic. Um, and yeah, this is the kind of behavior that it has. At one point, so in the comments, Brittany on her personal account says that she can't be anti-Semitic because she's Jewish, um, and that she doesn't understand why there are some questions that can't be answered or asked, which is like a common JQ talking point. And then uh, Sonsol and a couple other Twitter users were trying to explain to her why like the conspiratorial questioning isn't helpful or to the discourse. And then she said in a tweet, like it was something like, well, what it seems like you're telling me is that they're actually correct and that you don't have a real response to what they say. And that was, to me, I thought her being like, oh, I'm Jewish and I can't be anti-Semitic and there's some questions to be answered. I thought that was going to be like her biggest mask off moment. And then when she's just said that the people who were asking the Jewish question were correct and that we had no response, I just don't think that that's somebody who's a left-wing host that presents themselves as kind of, I understand that she's not a far left, but like if you're presenting yourself as a host of like these political ideas, I feel like you should be a little bit more educated on some of this stuff. And it just seems like she just isn't, and like she's ignorant about a lot of this. And I think that that's the dangerous part, that she's like as presenting herself as a left wing counter to these right wing ideas, agreeing with these extremely right wing ideas that Jews are infiltrating and infiltrating industries and controlling the world through them. That's actually Mio's position. There are pictures floating around of him talking about that on his Discord, and other people in the Discord saying that's what Mio convinced them of. So I think it's a little dangerous, or subversive, even, to like have a left wing host saying that these are like ideas that are correct, or or deserve to be asked.
Yeah, yeah, and to me, it's like if I were to say to you, well, I think the Earth is flat, and you go, no, it's not, and I go, well, you're not really responding to the question, are you? You're just saying it's bullshit. Like, do you know what I mean? It's that level of conspiracy, right? Like, it's just completely,
Yeah, yeah,
not
yeah.
not worth the sort of attention to really dissect it or discuss it. Or, in my opinion, anyway, it's just kind of silly.
Yeah, I
Um,
agree with you to that point. It's
yeah,
yeah,
and
it's something that like she does it under the guise of de-radicalization as well. Like she's like, well, it's just going to de-radicalize all these people, but it doesn't seem to be doing that way. And I know Vivian has aired her grievances with why it doesn't work de-radicalizing people this way. I know, as somebody who has taken people from literally Holocaust denial to becoming kind of like sock dems in my private life, I know that this isn't the best way, through
yeah.
trial and error of doing that. That it's this is not a platform. This is not the way that you do that.
Well,
And no
yeah.
matter what, yeah. Sorry, you go.
I was going to say, the thing for me with that kind of idea is these platforms are for content. Like, people are going on there to debate, like, for content and to make videos and put onto YouTube and make ad revenue. Da 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 da. Like, Politically Provoked's goal isn't to de-radicalize people; it's to make entertainment content, entertaining debates. So I just find it a bit weird when people act like, "Oh, we're doing this de-radicalization thing," and I'm like, I don't think so. Like, that's not really how it works in my mind.
Yeah, and my original critique was, if she wants these professional levels of debate, where like that's what she told me she wanted with the AI panel, or like if she wanted more constructive debate, that like the blood sports stuff isn't really the platform for it. That like you need to have
Yes.
some level of moderation, or otherwise you're just going to have the same 5 or 6 streamers who are okay with blood sports continually going back on. And yeah, I mean, it seems like that's what she wants. I saw that she was like engaging with a bunch of tweets on your thread that were saying that all she really wants to do is blood sports. Um, and yeah, that was like the thing.
I mean, the thing
So
is, if
yeah,
you want
that's
to do
kind
blood
of
sports, that's like, whatever. Like, it's up to you to fit within the TOS. I don't really care like what you do, but like at least own it, right? Like, at least be completely upfront and honest. This is just a blood sports thing, and don't try and be like, oh yeah, we need to do the JQ stuff because of de-radicalization. Like, just be honest and say, yeah, we want to talk about it because it's spicy content. I disagree with it heavily, but I'd at least somewhat respect that. Do you know what I mean? I'd be like, well, fair enough.
yeah, yeah,
You're being
yeah. It
honest
would
about it
probably
at
be a
least.
little bit more respectful. Yeah, I agree with you on that. Yeah, that's kind of where I belong in this thing. As you said the BPF Jangles drama was about the image of a trans woman breastfeeding. It's a video of a trans woman breastfeeding a child as part of some kind of bonding therapy or something. I'm not 100% sure. And again, that was kind of Jangles was trying to corner BPF there. And I don't know if there was any other drama besides that, and the Samantha and then Vivian making a uh, a thing to have people sign a petition. Sorry, I don't know why that word escaped my brain. A
That's all
petition to
good.
have like towards Twitch and YouTube to have them investigate politically provoked, which also I think already has like 300 or 400 signatures.
Right. Okay. Well, there we go. Well, look. Thank you so much for filling me in on the gaps I wasn't sure about. It's very helpful
No
for me.
problem.
Was there anything else you wanted to say or add before you go?
Um, yeah, I mean, just I would encourage people to look into kind of like the history of anti-Semitism, especially in the United States. It's something that a lot of people don't seem to have a great grasp on. Um, it's The United States actually has a pretty long history with anti-Semitism, and the idea that like the United States is this great like ally to Jewish people is kind of only made up because of the fact that we were counter to the Nazis in World War II. There's some good content out there that you could find. If anybody wanted to know, I could post some resources somewhere about videos, about histories of about anti-Semitism in the United States. It's something that I think that a lot of people don't really know.
Yeah, sure. I mean, in my Discord or by all means in chat. Yeah, that would be really useful. Um,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Well, listen. I really appreciate you coming on. And yeah. Is there anything you want to shout out for yourself? Do you have like a channel yourself you want to talk about? Or?
I stream every once in a while, usually when I'm on panels. Usually you could find me at the Twitch Politics Discord. That's usually the main thing that I shill. I'll post a link in the chat. It's a great place where we have, it's just where you can meet other people who are part of the community. We have people from everywhere, and we moderate stuff. If you want to have a conversation, and we also have like a movie night that we do every other week. That's kind of just a way for people to hang out. It's less more about
There we go. We're live again.
okay.
Okay. Sorry about that,
Yeah,
everyone. We're back. So you were saying about this movie night on the Discord.
yeah, so we do movie night every other week. We just watched Gangs of New York on Monday. I'm gonna post up another poll to figure out what movie we're gonna watch next for next movie night. And we have a Minecraft server. We're always taking new ideas about things that we can help build the community and make like more community cohesion. And again, it's less so about politics and more kind of about humanizing and kind of make the community a better place for people to hang out in and just kind of chat or hang out in. But you can talk politics there. There are politics, being discussed there. It's a Twitch Politics Discord, but it's a great place to hang out and kind of relax.
Brilliant. Well, yeah. Thanks so much for coming on. I really appreciate it. And
No problem.
yeah, all the best. And well, I hope you don't get any more grief from this drama. All right.
Yeah, yeah. Have a great rest of your stream.
Thanks very much. All the best. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.
Oh, well, there we go. What do you think of that, folks? Sorry about that. I don't know what happened there, but yeah. Thanks, Sam, for coming on. That was very much appreciated. What did we learn today? I mean, look, okay. I guess I'll give my final take on all this. Just to be clear as well, I did like accept or kind of float the idea, or what it was floated to me more like I was happy to bring people on to discuss this, and I was going to take a very obviously as I do. Like here we go. Look. When we come to talk about it, you can even hit up Brittany since she was the broadcast version of conversation. Why shouldn't have goddamn nights on a show at Discord? Yeah. I mean, I'm happy to sort this out and to moderate this between Sonso and this and Brittany. That offer still stands. So yeah, that's it basically. More than happy to have the conversation, and like I say, I'm always unbiased. I always try and do a good job. But that's all I've got to say on that. Like I say, at the end of the day, you know me, I'm not one for like campaigning to get TOS to TOS people and all this kind of stuff. Like, it's just not the way I do things. I think that, having someone who's going to be on your moderation team who is like explicitly like pushing JQ stuff is just stupid. And it really just, to me, kind of blows out all purposes, all purported unbiasedness, because that's like pretty full on, to put it lightly. Do you know what I mean? I mean, if you think that they ought to be taken off, that's your prerogative. Do you know what I mean? It's up to you, kind of how you perceive these things, and you might perceive it differently dependent on what your circumstances are. But for me, yeah, it's not really my thing. But I just think like, if you're gonna do blood sports and you're gonna have some fucking weirdos doing your moderation and stuff, like fucking own it and just say it. Don't give me this de-radicalization bullshit. Like, that's just ridiculous to me. Do you know what I mean? I just think that's such a cop out. Oh, thanks a lot for the link, Sam. Good video about Judaism and anti-Semitism at the end of the Wolfenstein games. Good when they go to history without being bogged down. That's good. Yeah, post on my Discord. That looks really interesting. So yeah, I don't know. I just and like this. Mayo's in this Tucson, so it's not fair for you to continue to not allow him the chance to defend himself. We'll be addressing all this tomorrow on our show. If you want to come on and discuss this, you can. If Russia wants to come on as well, that's fine, but it's on our turf. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. The offer's still there. The offer's still there. We'll get a lot of viewers doing it. I'm sure that'll be great for everyone. You know, we can hash this out, all that stuff.